We know that there are 40 to 60 people who would use a sober shelter.
That may not seem like a big number to some, but that's currently what Lethbridge Councillor and Deputy Mayor Jen Schmidt-Rempel says is a number that would be viable if the temporary sober shelter is built. The motion at Council passed 6-2 for City Administration to apply for approval at the Civic Curling Centre for the shelter to be built. According to Schmidt-Rempel, there's no perfect solution for the tent encampments in our city, but the implementation of a temporary sober shelter is a logical next step.
It is part of the continuum of housing. It does help people who are living in the encampment, who are looking for that kind of treatment, move out of the encampment and move into a sober shelter space.
Councillor Ryan Parker voted against the motion, saying he believes our city's most vulnerable need access to appropriate shelter, but shouldn't be able to set up a tent anywhere they choose within the city.
That's why we have a shelter. We do have adequate rooms right now, adequate space. So I think it's incumbent upon us as a corporation, as well as the Lethbridge Police Service, to enforce the laws that are in place and to clean up the site.
The Director of Community Services with the City of Lethbridge, Mike Fox, says the decision to bring in a temporary sober shelter has been contemplated for a few years now, but it could take until November to get the full results back to Council.
There are some factors that we aren't aware of yet. We have to look at the costs to renovate and make the space usable. So we do have to look at that, and then also further on the capital funding is the operating funding from the province.
A homeless man named Arvind Whitecow made his way into City Hall during a break in Council and had a strong message for city officials.
November, we're working on it. It should come into effect in November. Well, guess what? Between now and November, guess what? We got people out there hotter than hell. Provincial government doesn't help me. Federal government doesn't help me. City of Lethbridge doesn't help me except for the shelter.
City Administration will report back to Council sometime in November with the full details on whether a temporary sober shelter is viable to be built at the Civic Curling Centre. For Lethbridge City News, I'm Micah Quinn.